Hello, in this video I'll be introducing you to the relay module and brief you about some precautionary measures which you need to take while using a relay module with any of the microcontroller boards. So let's get started here. So on the screen I have a 4-channel relay and a single channel relay. So we have different types of relays here, that is a single channel relay, 2-channel relay, 4 and an 8-channel relay. So the mechanism in which we use them with the microcontroller boards is pretty much the same. The single channel relay is replicated 4 times to get a 4-channel relay module, and same applies with the other relay modules. So a relay is an electrically operated switch that can be used to turn a circuit on or off, letting the current go through it or not, and this can be controlled with low voltages, like suppose say 5 volts or a 3.3 volts as well. So particularly here we are using a 5 volt relay module, so we do get 3.3 volt relay modules as well. Those are suitable for ESP32 and ESP8266 type of boards. So these cube like structures on the relay module make up the channel between the mains voltage and the low voltages, which could be used with boards like Raspberry Pi, ESP32 and so on. So particularly for this, the module should be powered up with a 5 volt connecting to the VCC pin here, which is quite appropriate for using with an Arduino. So for 3.3 volt module you could get VCC connecting to a 3.3 volt pin on the microcontroller board. So coming to the pinout section of the relay, we have 3 sockets here for the mains voltage to be connected and 3 here for connecting it to the low voltages. These get connected to the microcontroller boards and these are connected to the mains voltage. The same goes here. There are 12 sockets in here and we have the VCC and the ground type pins and the controlling pins which should be connected to the microcontroller board. So these socket pins carry high voltages and these carry the lower voltages. So the higher voltage side socket consists of 3 terminals here, majorly for one single relay block. This terminal here is a NO, that is normally open terminal. Then this is the common voltage, so the common mode voltage would be supplied to this terminal, and this is the NC terminal, that is a normally closed terminal. So a normally closed terminal is used when you want to keep the relay closed by default. So you might have to pass a signal from the microcontroller board saying that the circuit must be open now so that current doesn't pass through. Whereas when it comes to normally open, it is the opposite of normally closed. We pass in a signal to close the switch and allow current to pass through in. The same 3 socket mechanism is replicated in all the 4 blocks connected here on the PCB, and the same goes with the single channel here. So from an applications point of view, say if you're going to connect a lamp that needs to be occasionally on and off, preferably you could be using a normally open circuit configuration so that there won't be continuous voltage passing through the board and reduces the risk of the component and the board being burning out. Now let me brief you about the precautions while using a relay module. So whenever you're connecting the high voltage terminals here, you should never be touching the charged section, that is the socket part or the screws directly, while the power is being supplied. So there might be electric shocks that might occur, so you must be cautioned about it. Also, never use a relay for a load that exceeds the contact ratings of the relay. So the contact ratings are given generally on the relay module here itself on the blocks. So you should be careful about connecting the relay for the loads which are in between these 2 ranges itself. So more amount of information would be given on the data sheets, so do check out the data sheets and then go on to use the module for your application. So whenever the load exceeds the contact ratings, there would be deterioration in the performance of this relay module, and also there might be chances of the module being damaged or burnt. So whenever you are handling a relay, should never drop it or dismantle it, as it could attract high chances of burning out or a lot of damage being caused. So a relay's durability is greatly affected by the switching conditions in which it is being used. So always test your relay under actual application conditions to confirm the applicability, and then use the relay for the number of switching operations that will not affect its performance. Continued application of a relay would reduce the performance of it and may result in insulation failures and damage. Never apply over voltage or connect the wiring incorrectly to the modules. A mistake like this would completely affect the external circuit that would be connected to the relay, and there are high chances of burning out and damage to itself. So now, keeping in mind the atmospheric conditions, the relay must not be used in a condition where inflammables or explosive gases are exposed. The switching arcs or the relay may heat up and give out explosion or fire in this particular condition. So whenever you are using a relay, it's must ensured that you should be testing it before you use it in your application directly. So the standard testing conditions are as follows: a temperature of 15 to 35 degrees centigrade and a humidity level of 25% to 75% with a pressure of 86 to 106 kilopascals. and an altitude of 2000 meter maximum. So while testing it, always keep the operating environment similar to which the relay would be existing in, or like connecting in the environment where actual applications would take place with the actual load conditions. If you would like to get more information about the conditions in which the relay could be used, could go on to check the data sheet. So all the reference data provided in there has been taken from production lines and represented in the form of graphs. So however, the actual values would depend on the application. All the ratings and performances in there would be given on the basis of independent tests, so the values might vary for different combinations of ratings and performances. So next in the precautionary measures, we need to be careful about maintaining the relay module and sealing it properly so that it won't be exposed to any kind of dust or moisture which might cause rust on the PCB and cause failures in the application. So the dust might enter and get clogged between the contacts, and if it is a conductive material such as wire clippings or so, it will cause contact failures and short circuiting. So always take measures to store the relay module and keep it sealed properly away from these undesirable particles in the atmosphere. Also, while choosing a relay, check the coil specifications which match with the design of the circuit which you are going to use for the application. If unsuitable coil specifications are selected, the performance potential will be unattainable and application of over voltage may cause coil burnout. Another factor which needs to be kept in mind is the maximum switching capacity, which you could get to know about from the data sheets, especially from the graphs. So use the graphs to get to know about maximum switching capacity and durability as a rough guide for selection. However, these might vary from the actual application, but these make up the basic reference while selecting a board. Coming to the contacts part, so the current applied to the contacts when they are open or closed will have a large effect on the contacts. So for example, when the load is a motor or a lamp, there is larger inrush current from the mains, so the greater the amount of contact exhaustion and contact transfer would be leading to deposits, locking and other factors which can cause malfunction. So the electrical durability, that is the health of the component, will greatly depend on the factors such as coil drive circuit or type of load which you are going to use, and the switching frequency along with the switching phase and ambient atmosphere. So always be sure to check these out before putting your relay module in action. So as we have discussed about the ratings, preferably try to be using devices that are at the lower end of the ratings. So the values might obviously vary from what is given by the standardized tests, but it is quite safe and secure to be using devices which are at the lower end of the ratings, as higher end of the ratings might result in abnormal heating and burning out of the connection. So coming back to the consequences of not maintaining a proper storage or operation environment. So if a relay is stored for an extended period of time in the atmosphere with high temperature and humidity, oxidation or sulfurization films will form on the contact surfaces, causing problems such as contact failure or rusting. Sometimes when the atmosphere has got a high humidity condition, a green corrosive component may be generated inside the relay module, which would make the module prone to damage. So it is recommended to use it in low humidity conditions. So coming to the vibration and the shock generating cases, do not allow the relays to be subjected to vibration or shock that exceeds the rated values. So if abnormal vibration or shock is received, it will not only cause malfunctioning but faulty operation due to deformation of the components. So coming to the measures to be taken when an external magnetic field is around in the atmosphere, try not to use the relays in a location where an external magnetic field of 800 ampere per meter or greater is present. If they are used in such locations, it might cause malfunctioning, and also strong magnetic fields may cause the arc discharge between contacts during switching to be bent or cause tracking or insulation failure. So the next precautionary measure would be about the twisting of wires to connect to these sockets. So if the lead wires are insufficiently twisted around the relay terminals when they are soldered, weak pulling, vibration or shock may cause the lead wires to be disconnected again. Also, never solder lead wires to the tap terminals. So there are precautionary measures to be followed while tightening up the screws as well on the relay module. So be sure to tighten all the screws to appropriate torque given in the data sheet. So loose screws may result in burning due to abnormal generation of heat due to energization. So in general, relays are subject to switching between high DC voltages. So if the voltages exceed the specified range, it might not be possible to interrupt the load, and therefore the component might catch fire. So to prevent this, try to use a configuration in which the current load can be interrupted in the event of emergency. So if you are worried about the circuit being burnt out out or might malfunction anytime. So use either a varsistor or a diode plus a Zener diode as a protection circuit against reverse surge in the relay coil. Using a diode alone would reduce the switching characteristics of the relay module. And also be sure to use the screws provided with the product for wiring the coil terminals and contact terminals. So the specified tightening torque cannot be achieved with the different screws and may result in abnormal heat. So these are some of the basic precautionary measures that need to be followed while using a relay module. But right now I've got a 4-channel relay with me. So let's move to the hardware and check out how it looks like. So here we are with the 4-channel relay module which I was talking about. So let's have a closer look at it. So here you see the blue block. Those are the channel blocks for the relay module. On top you have these sockets, so wherein you would be wiring the mains voltages. So it would look something like this. You would need to insert your mains voltage wires here and screw them up with these screws provided with the component. So the circuitry on the other side all consists of the diodes, some resistors and transistors. So here we have the pins connecting to the microcontroller board. So the ground, the VCC and the in1 to in4 pins are for controlling the channels of the relay module through the microcontroller board. So it would be sending signals on these channels. So whichever you want to use. Suppose say if you want to use a third channel with the mains voltage connected to the third one. So you would connect the in3 pin to the digital pin of the microcontroller boards and get the controlling algorithm working. You see this jumper wire here. So when you remove it, you see two terminals. So one with the JD VCC and the other with the VCC. So the VCC is same as that of the VCC over here. The JD VCC is for powering up the electromagnet on the relay module. So if you want to power the electromagnet with a different voltage, you could do that separately without the jumper wire. So this would keep the components connected externally to the relay module and the relay module isolated. So when you go on to connect the jumper, so you would be powering up the electromagnet as well as the VCC voltage given by the microcontroller board on the same voltage now. So the components connected externally and the relay module will not be isolated anymore. So the component has got LEDs over here indicating the status of the connections over here. Following all the precautionary measures which we have discussed earlier, we could go on to use the relay module for various other applications which now deal with direct power supply which we get to our home. So in this video you were introduced with the relay module, how to use it and what all are the connections and the pinouts for the relay module and what all the precautionary measures that you need to follow while using a relay module in specific applications. Thank you.